Everything you own would be launched eastward at over 1,600 kilometers per hour. Not in a hurricane, not in an explosion, just because Earth stopped moving. And you didn't. Right now, as you sit completely still, you are hurtling through space at nearly the speed of a bullet. You don't feel it, you never have, but the moment that motion stops, the world as you know it ends in seconds. This is what would actually happen if Earth suddenly stopped spinning. Here's something that should unsettle you. Earth has been spinning for 4.5 billion years, every single day, without pause, without hesitation. It started spinning when a massive cloud of gas and dust collapsed under its own gravity, and it has never once stopped since. But why does it keep going? There's no engine, no fuel, no mechanism maintaining it. Earth spins simply because nothing has stopped it yet. Space is nearly frictionless, so the rotation just continues, endlessly, quietly, beneath your feet right now. And here's the part that should keep you up at night. It is slowing down. Every single year, Earth's rotation loses a tiny fraction of its speed, milliseconds per century, pulled away by the gravitational drag of the moon. Scientists have actually had to add leap seconds to our clocks just to keep up with this invisible deceleration. So the question isn't if Earth will stop spinning. The question is what happens when it does. Let's say it happens now, suddenly, completely. The first thing that kills most of humanity isn't fire or flood, it's physics. At the equator, Earth's surface moves at roughly 1,670 kilometers per hour, faster than most military jets. The moment Earth stops, that momentum doesn't disappear, it transfers. Every person, every building, every ocean, every mountain range that isn't bolted to the bedrock would continue moving east at 1,670 kilometers per hour. This is called inertia, and it is absolutely merciless. Cities would be wiped clean off the surface. The atmosphere itself, billions of tons of air, would surge eastward like a planetary-scale shockwave. Winds beyond anything ever recorded in human history. Supersonic, continent-destroying. The oceans would be worse. Water, unlike land, has nothing holding it in place. The seas would slosh violently toward the equator, sending walls of water thousands of meters tall crashing across entire continents. North America, Europe, Asia. Coastal civilization gone within hours. But here's where it gets stranger. Earth's shape would change. Right now, our planet isn't a perfect sphere. It bulges at the equator, a thick belt of extra mass created by the centrifugal effect of spinning. Remove the spin, and that bulge slowly redistributes. The equatorial regions sink, the polar regions rise, the crust fractures. Volcanic activity on a scale that makes all of recorded history look calm. For weeks, the planet would be geologically unrecognizable. Now, here is the part nobody talks about. Even if every human somehow survived the initial catastrophe, even if we found shelter underground while the surface was scoured clean, we would face something just as deadly. A day 365 days long. Without its spin, Earth would take a full year to complete one rotation relative to the sun. One side of the planet would bake in sunlight for 6 months straight, temperatures climbing past 100 degrees Celsius, deserts expanding across entire continents, oceans evaporating. The other side would freeze in 6 months of absolute darkness, temperatures plunging to minus 100 degrees Celsius and beyond, permanent blizzards, ice creeping down from the poles toward the equator. Only a thin sliver of land, the Terminator line, the permanent twilight zone between day and night, would remain remotely habitable. A narrow ring around the planet where temperatures could theoretically support life. And then there's the magnetic field. Earth's magnetic field, the invisible shield that protects every living thing on this planet from lethal solar radiation, is generated by the movement of molten iron in Earth's outer core. That movement is driven in part by rotation. Slow the spin enough, lose the magnetic field. Without it, solar winds would strip the atmosphere away, layer by layer, molecule by molecule. Mars used to have a magnetic field too. It stopped spinning fast enough to maintain one. Look at Mars now, a frozen, airless, radiation-scorched desert. Not because of a catastrophe that hit it from outside, because it lost what Earth still has. But step back even further. Earth is not the only world in the universe that stopped spinning. Tidal locking, the same gravitational process slowing Earth down right now, has already frozen dozens of worlds in our galaxy. The Moon is tidally locked to Earth. It rotates exactly once per orbit, which is why we always see the same face. One side in permanent daylight, one side in permanent darkness. And there are exoplanets, planets orbiting distant stars that are tidally locked to their suns. Planets where one hemisphere is a hellscape of molten rock and the other is a frozen, lightless void. Scientists believe that many Earth-like planets in the habitable zones of smaller, dimmer stars are tidally locked. The conditions for life might exist somewhere in that thin twilight ring, if the atmosphere is thick enough to distribute heat, if liquid water can persist in that narrow band between burning and freezing. Which raises a question that science hasn't answered yet. If life can arise on a tidally locked world, if organisms can survive in the permanent twilight of a planet that no longer spins, what would that life look like? What would evolve in a world where the sun never moves, where one horizon is always on fire and the other is always night? We don't know, but the universe almost certainly does. Earth's spin is not decoration. It is not background detail. It is the reason the sky is blue, the reason your blood isn't boiling, the reason there is weather instead of a dead atmosphere pinned to the ground. It is the reason life exists here at all. And it is slowing down, quietly, imperceptibly, every single day. Not fast enough to matter in your lifetime or in 1,000 lifetimes, but the physics is patient in a way that civilizations are not. Somewhere out in the dark, right now, there are worlds that used to spin like ours and don't anymore. We just haven't been listening long enough to hear what happened to them.